Hi, this is Jason from Horrific Nightmares, and it's time for another positive spin. Now, this week we're going to be talking about one of the most hated remakes ever made, and that is The Wicker Man. Yeah, this one is big time hated. Now, I got this years ago, I believe when Blockbuster was still around, and I had never seen it. I didn't see it in the theaters. I've always been a huge fan of the original, and I wanted to see this. And I kind of got a hold of it before a lot of people could talk a lot of crap about it. But this has two different versions of the film. It has an alternate, unrated cut, I believe, that has an alternate ending. That's what a lot of people had, well, when they comment about the bees and everything. That's on the alternate ending. Joe and I are just basically concentrating on the theatrical version, which has a different ending. Um, yeah, and this is actually my first watch of the original ending and the theatrical version. Usually, when I buy movies and they have two different cuts of the film on there, I'll usually watch the unrated cut, the the longer cut, the cut that has more stuff in it. It's just kind of what interests me, especially because this is a PG-13 rated horror film. So, what did I think of The Wicker Man, the theatrical version? Let's put a positive spin on it. Okay, it has a decent cast, I will say, with Nick Cage and um, the mother from 6 Feet Under. I'm forgetting some names now. Ellen Burstyn, I believe, plays Miss Summerisle. The accident in the beginning kind of starts it off positive, because it's like jarring and unsettling, and it kind of sticks with Nick Cage's character throughout the film. It's interesting how his character gets pulled into Summer Isle. It's personal. The story, without, because this is not a review, this is basically just trying to find positives in a movie that not many people find very positive. I like that it's personal. It's the fact that it was a girl that he was engaged to. Her daughter has gone missing, and she's asking for his help. Of course, she's not in the best frame of mind because of this accident that happened in the beginning of the film. So, that adds a little bit more to the actual story itself. Let's see, Nick is a lot more subdued in this. And this is one of the things that Joe and I talked about. His acting, because I do like Nick Cage as an actor, his acting is very weird in this. There's two different things he kind of does. He's either really, really mad, or he's almost like lethargic. And for some reason, I'm entertained. It's not a consistent acting performance, but for some reason it entertains me. I don't know why. Uh, where in the original he is welcomed, but at the same time made to feel uncomfortable. In this one, he is not welcomed, and he's made to feel like he's not supposed to be there. And I do like that change in the story. This is one of those remakes that actually does hold true to the source material to a certain degree, but then it does do its own thing. And that's the kind of remake that I generally like. I love the setting. One of the things that I noticed, okay, I love the setting in the original Wicker Man, but in this, it seems a little bit more believable. The reason being is because it's a lot rough. It's got places that are falling down. In the original Wicker Man, all the lawns are very manicured. Now, granted, the whole town works together, but it just looks a little too perfect. In this one, it's a little bit rougher, and it's a little bit, I think, more believable for an island setting, in my opinion. The fact that he was engaged, now this is a bit of a spoiler here, but he was engaged to this woman that is on the island that he's looking for her daughter, makes him seem a little bit more caring than the guy in the other ones. It's hard not to. This film should stand on its own merits, and that's what I'm trying to do. But in some ways, you kind of have to compare it to the original Wicker Man, in my opinion. And while I love the original Wicker Man, it's one of my favorite movies of all time, the um, the lead character is not really very engaging. He's more gruff and very religious and very black and white. In this one, he seems a lot more caring. They kept the photos just like in the original of the harvest, and I thought that that was really cool. The fact that this is another spoiler, so if you haven't seen the original or the remake of the Wicker Man, you might want to not watch this if you care. Some may not. But the fact that it's his kid kicks up the suspense, in my opinion. I like how they basically use the same Wicker Man towards the end. Now, as I said, there are two different endings. A lot of people comment on the bees, but that's not this ending. This ending is more like the original Wicker Man. Now, in this ending, they do show 6 months later, and I like the end a lot. It features James Franco and Jason Ritter in a bar type setting. And I thought that was kind of neat. And one of the things I really didn't understand was in the credits, they say for Johnny Ramone. I don't understand that. I don't know if he was a fan of the original and they made this for him. I'm not really sure. Now, this also has a little bit of controversy behind it now. This was actually done by Randall Emmett, who is now being, well, he's in a lot of trouble. Let's just put it that way for, having a casting couch and running drugs and guns and stuff like that from what they say. But he's in a lot of trouble. So, which I was surprised because I didn't know he had produced this film. But, it is what it is. Now, I know a lot of people aren't a fan of this movie. Um, it's a kind of weird movie for me because while I don't really feel it's a good film per se, I am entertained by it. I mean, I was literally rolling at the end. When Nick Cage is dressed up in that bear costume and he starts punching the ladies and all that, to me, I was just no more good. Um, which is what I find entertaining. Now, does it have the same kind of suspense and the dread that the first film has? No. But it also has rewatchability being entertainment. Maybe not as much as the original. In some cases, maybe more than the original. That's something that you kind of have to decide for yourself. All in all, this film isn't that bad. It's not a great film by any stretch, but we do all kinds here on Positive Spin. This is not one that is one of my favorite films of all time. It's not like when we did The Fog, which I really did like, or um, some of the other films that we've done that I ended up really enjoying. I don't like this one quite as much, but I do find that there's entertainment to be had. And there is another thing in this film that I forgot to mention. It's not a man hating film, but it does have a certain agenda that is not, let's say, shoved down your throat. And it was a lot easier for me to take in this one because, to be honest, it had been so long since I watched this movie, I couldn't remember that much of it. So, like I said, I was entertained. It was really good in the beginning, and then when it got a little sillier towards the end, it was entertaining for me. But that's my positive spin. Don't forget to check out Joe's positive spin on The Wicker Man, the remake. And what do you think about it? Comment and let me know. And if you like what you see in here, hit that like button and subscribe. And until next time, peace.